When we first got to Medjugorje, our apartment that the missionary there had helped us find was a mess. You can't really see in the video, but it was full of mold. There's mold behind that mirror. There's mold in just different corners of the house. It was filthy. The furniture was dusty and dirty and very, very, very colorful, like blue and orange. Beautiful. There were cockroaches, and that's a whole different story that we'll talk about. But it basically needed a ton of work. We weren't going to move in the way it was. The missionary there helped us book a hotel that we stayed in for about a week, while brothers from the church really came together and helped us fix our apartment. So it was hard living out of a hotel room. I did have to wash clothes on the balcony, and it was a very clean hotel room with AC, but not very pretty, and there really wasn't anything but a refrigerator. So yeah, I washed dishes on the roof, had to dry them out there. We really struggled figuring out how to eat, and during this time we both got severe food poisoning. That was pretty horrific to deal with. Emery also ended up teething for 2 days, and people from our neighboring rooms were kind of knocking on our door, so it was just bad. It was a difficult time for us, but we're thankful, and we're especially thankful for the fact that all the brothers from the church were working on our apartment for free, doing painting, helping us replace some of the things that needed to be replaced, like the stove. The AC was not really, it was like in a really bad, not really working condition. And so we did end up moving in and doing some of the things for ourselves. But we finally settled in. So it's minimalist, it's simple, but we're so thankful to have a space of our own. There's still a lot of work to be done. The kitchen needs shelving and just a lot of basic storage. Like there's nowhere to put a pantry. But we're thankful for this space. We're thankful for the home God has given us. We're thankful that it's clean, and yes, the cockroaches are dealt with. So praise for that, and thank you for all the prayers as we are settling into our new home. Hey everybody, and welcome to my couch. And welcome to a very, very overdue video about our lives here. So those of you who have been waiting on updates, I apologize. Things have been crazy since we've gotten to Medjugorje. Love having home again. So huge to have a home. You don't know what it feels like to kind of just be like wandering and going from person's house to person's house, being dependent on other people until you've tried it. Really sucks. Don't try it. Anyways, we're home. We have a place of our own. We're so thankful to God, and we also have gotten a lot more clarity and information as to what we will be doing here in Medjugorje. So that's really exciting for us. Soon after we got here, we had a sit down talk with the main missionary that we actually came to help here. He works with a different organization than OM, but OM knows that we are working with him, collaborating with the existing ministry that he has here in Medjugorje. And he is kind of in charge of missions in this area. His home church does a lot of mission programs and outreach programs in the community. He's actually a city councilman, and his name is Sali Sabri. Sabri's his first name, Sali's his last name, but everyone calls him Sali because I think that they just assume that's his first name. So when I refer to Sali, or as people here call him Samika, or Brother Samika, he's our kind of our mentor and the missionary that we're here to help. We got to sit down with him and talk to him about what the needs are here and what the needs in the church are specifically, which was exciting because it felt like God really aligned things so that our skills and the things that we're passionate about align really well to what the church needs. So I guess this update video is mostly for the purpose of sharing the ministries that we're going to be getting involved in. It's been a lot. Adjusting to a different country has been definitely really hard. It hasn't been easy. And it's hard to say why, because there's just a million things, I feel like, from just doing laps around the grocery store, trying to figure out where is the salt or the butter or baking powder or random things that you know instinctively, or I feel like I know. Nate didn't know this in America either. He definitely didn't know this in America. But things that I felt like I know and I have a handle on in America, and then all of a sudden I feel like a baby because I can't find this stuff in the store. Felt like a man in a grocery store. So from little things like that to not knowing if you're saying the wrong thing or if you're not acting the right way. Nate doesn't stress about this again, but I do. Even our physically, like we adjusted obviously to the time change pretty quickly, but I don't know what it is because we're exhausted all the time. I feel like only now we're starting to settle in to our routine and not get to the end of our day and feel like we're just completely like steamrolled. And another physical thing is we've just been sick a lot. So I talked a little bit about my food poisoning on my Instagram, and then also, I don't know if I followed up, but Nate also got some sort of food poisoning that lasted him quite a while. It wasn't as severe, but it was a lot longer lasting than mine was. Emery started teething. Her little top tooth came out. It's like not even the center one. It's off to the side, so it's really funny. But that was a horrific 2 days. It was so bad. We, for the first time, put our child in the car and drove around at night because that was the only way that she would go to sleep. And there were people knocking on our hotel room door being like, well, we didn't open. But she was making that much noise that people were coming to our door and like, what's going on? Why is your child wailing? Apparently. Nate got over that, got a sore throat. Then I had a sore throat. It's felt like we've been sick a lot. Like our bodies are just like encountering new germs and not dealing with it well. I'm constantly stuffed. I think it's because of pregnancy, but it could be because I've just been sick this whole time. I really don't know. So that's been hard. And all that to say is that we're feeling tired, drained, and we just got started. So that's fun. But I truly feel that this is part of adjusting. Like moving to a different country wasn't going to be easy, and we knew that. So when we sat down with Brother Sali, we asked him, what are the needs? What can we get involved in? And there are already some things that we had noticed. So when we went to the home church service, and I say home church because Sali pastors not only a church in Medjugorje, but there are surrounding villages, Turkish villages, Gypsy, or as they prefer to be called, Roma people villages. There's different smaller towns around Medjugorje, and the church has church has planted lots of different churches. Church has planted lots of different churches in each village, and so he kind of oversees all of them and goes and visits them, and there's multiple church services that we are actually going to be attending. But at the home church, when we went there the first Sunday, there are a couple things we noticed. So the kids were really, really loud during the service, and there was even little kids running up on stage behind the preacher while he was giving the message, and there just doesn't seem to be any sort of Sunday school program or any program whatsoever for the church kids. That was one thing we noticed, and the second thing was that there was no music program other than there was one person standing up at the front leading the songs, or they would play like YouTube background music and the church would sing a hymn to that. Those were two things we specifically asked Sally about, and he told us he loves people with initiative. If we see a problem, like jump in and come up with a solution. And we were like, great, Nate knows how to do music. So, and I've worked with kids, so God just opened the doors for us to get involved with that. Nate is this week starting both a worship team in the church and a choir. So he has rehearsal for worship team tonight, and then he has choir practice, I believe, tomorrow. A lot of these people don't know how to read music, which is fine because he can start them from ground zero, and he's really excited to be able to help the church in this way. And then as for the kids, I offered to lead the Sunday school program. Brother Sally was super excited and definitely on board with that. I asked for him to make an announcement so that other sisters in the church can get involved, so I can kind of have a team rotating out so that I wouldn't be teaching it every single Sunday. The reason for that is there are some kids that can't sit in any of the church service. They're very small children, like kindergarten age, and there's not a room where the moms can sit with their kids. So there's no, like, in Romania we call it mama și copii, like there's no like room for moms. And there's nowhere outside the church where they would have a screen to listen to what's going on inside of the church. Because of that, and because I have to be out of the service the whole time, I would have preferred to have, some Sundays where I can sit in church, other Sundays where I'm out there working with the kids. That wasn't possible because out there working with the kids. So Sally made the announcement in church. So far, there haven't been any women that signed up. I think, it was just one announcement. Usually I have to tell people 4 times before I feel like people, get the message or, notice. I feel like I never get announcements the first time. We're going to keep praying for that, but right now it's just me, and I'm starting that this Sunday. So I have children that are kindergarten age, and then I have kids that are up to middle school age, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a mix. I did mention on my Instagram the fact that we are going to be doing both ministry and missions. I think of ministry as you're working to build up the existing church, and missions as you're going out and evangelizing people that are not Christians, that need to hear the gospel. So both of those things are church ministry things. However, especially the Sunday school program is a big tool for missions as well, because a lot of kids from the village, from Medjugorje, are probably going to hear about the program and start coming to church just to have something. These kids don't really have a lot of people working with them, and so when word gets out that there's something for kids will come. They don't care if it's a church thing. And so I'm praying that God uses the Sunday school group to bring in new kids into the church, or kids that are just not coming to church at all. Some children of the believers just don't come to church at all because there's nothing for them there and they're not interested, and I guess the parents aren't forcing them to come. So those are 2 ministries that we're going to be involved in. A third ministry that is linked to the church, but again is a big mission opportunity, is the youth group. Sally asked Nate to be co-youth pastor with a man that's already working with the youth there. He is doing a great job, just needs more help, especially with planning youth activities. They have an existing youth program, but really the youth just shows up and they have a service. They don't have a worship team really, and then there's not really anything fun. And if you've ever worked with young people, you know that they need like game nights, food nights, just go to the beach, go do this, go play volleyball. And both Nate and I love doing stuff like that. So we're going to help with planning that aspect of things, and also try to get a worship team up and running, and probably Nate's going to be speaking there. There are a lot of youth that come to youth group that are not saved. They don't come to church at all. So you won't see them Sunday, but you'll see them at youth group because they have friends. So that's just like a ministry / mission thing, because we can definitely draw in these young people into the church and they can hear the gospel. So we're really excited about that as well. Another ministry that I've talked about on my Instagram, I actually made an IGTV video. I made an IGTV. I don't know if V stands for video. And it is the Cantina ministry. Cantina is the Romanian word for food kitchen. Oh, baby's crying. Complaining. Cantina is the Romanian word for food kitchen. Monday through Friday, there are some sisters from the church that cook food. They come at like 8 in the morning and cook food. I signed up to come 2 days a week. I wish I could do more, but with Emery, it's really hard. Nate's probably going to take care of her during those days. And regardless, they have a lot of women, so they're on a rotating schedule. Then the food gets distributed to over 100 people, poor people that are just struggling to make ends meet, struggling to get their next meal. Some of them have huge debts at grocery stores because they're just, running up debts because they can't pay for their food. They load it up into a van, they drive around, and that's something that we joined this week. So we've been doing it pretty much every day this week. Nate, more so than me. I've had to stay home with Emery, and that's something we're gonna be involved in Monday through Friday. Right now we're learning the route. We're just kind of trying to share that task with them. And obviously this is not just social work. We're not just giving them food. The goal is to share the gospel. So we pray with the people. We remind them of evangelism events. There's one happening Sunday night. So this week, as we were distributing food, we were telling people, come to the evangelism thing that's happening, reminding them to come. So giving them food is just a tool. It creates a huge open door, because then the people we have a relationship with the people, and they have openness to the church and to hearing what we have to say. And actually through the food distribution ministry, we've already had, like, I have a cool story, like a cool story bro moment, about a little girl called Delia that I'm gonna share. I'm still like chewing on it, and I think that it's still not fully developed. God's still working, but it's really cool, the people that you meet, and it's also really, really sad, the conditions that they live in. There's a family that lives by a garbage dump, and you don't want to get out of the car because it smells so bad. The kids are filthy. They often live in like a 1-room, no electricity, no running water hut, not made of wood. It's made of like cinder blocks, concrete floor, but that's all it is. It's like a shelter, but it's not a home. And it's really sad for the adults, but my heart breaks for the children. And I'm going to share pictures because I took some pictures on one of the days when we went and did the distribution, and it's just heartbreaking. Brother Sally also told me that they do programs for these kids specifically that aren't in Medjugorje, that are in these like crazy impoverished communities. So I'm trying to learn more about that and how I can get involved with that, because those are like, those kids need it probably more than anybody else. They need to hear the gospel, and they have such a, just like such a tiny chance of that happening unless the church steps in. So I don't know, kids like that are the reason I came here. So I'm so excited that I can help them, and I'm excited that Sally's so open to ideas, because I love coming up with ideas. So I'm praying and thinking, and I'm just like, I'm like, I want to go. Trying to remind myself my first responsibility is my family and all of that. And that's easy because Emory is my first priority. But then at the same time, because I love doing missions and I love helping kids, I'm like, but the other kids, you know? So like, when I need to stay home and take care of Emory, I'm like, oh, I could be doing other stuff. So anyways, yeah, priorities. Like, you just have to know, what God called you to do first and foremost. And even if you see like something that you think is like a desperate need, your priorities need to be firmly, you can't move them. You can't tell God, no, I know better. My tea is so good. Also, I've had like a sore throat for like 3 days. It's so bad. Ali would like me to start an English program in the fall. So currently I've taught ESL before, but I'm not trained to do it. So I'm using the summer to research and gather materials and build a program and build a plan, because I have adults that want to do it and like really small children that are going to be coming. And that's honestly the biggest mission opportunity that I have, because people from outside the church are really interested in coming to learn English. So I don't want to miss out on that. But at the same time, I'm due in December. So there's some logistics, and I'm kind of planning it. The goal is to start in the fall and see how far I can go before the baby comes, baby boy, and I have to not say his name because we already picked his name. We already had his name. We had a boy name. We had a boy name, not a girl name. Long before he found out the gender, I was like, if it's a girl, I am going to be scrambling, because I don't know why I don't like very many girl names. There are very many beautiful girl names. I just really struggle latching on to like one. I don't know. Emory was like, Emory, I knew it. I knew, like, I love that name and I still love it, and it's not even like a girl name. I mean, it is, but it's like a gender neutral name. But yeah, so then we found out this little guy is a boy. We're like, perfect. And I call him that and it's gonna slip out, so gotta be careful. That's Emory complaining. All right, I think that's all I got. I wish Nate could have been here to film, but he's at church. He's like reorganizing all their wires for their audio stuff. He loves doing stuff like that. And getting ready for the worship team practice that he's having tonight. I have to go work on VBS stuff. Just kidding. So Sunday school stuff. And yeah, it feels like we're really like kind of starting to dig into the work, and I feel alive. I feel like I'm doing what we were called to do, and everything that's hard. Aw, my baby's crying. I'm gonna go help her. Everything that's hard, it's like so worth it. So anyways, thank you for the prayers. Keep praying for us, and we will keep you updated. I hope these videos will come out more often than this one did. All right, see ya.